Okay.
Only
It's
for
just in the
rides.
It's just in the consent agenda.
Yeah, it doesn't, yeah, it's nothing.
Okay. Oh, you're saying because I've got Ingham.
Yeah. It needs to be the Rives.
Okay, so we'll just change that when we approve the agenda.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Jerry, it's up to you to start the meeting.
All
Jerry?
right, I'm ready now. Okay, we'll call this meeting to order for the Rives Township Board. Thank you all for struggling and finding your way here. Is there any additions, or excuse me, we have to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
There's a flag right behind me. I'll turn it so everybody can see the flag.
I would
I'll
like
go
to,
ahead and I'll go
Jerry-
ahead and do it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to
which
the
republic, which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm sure that came through clear as mud.
Jerry, I would like you to ask everybody that's not muted to please mute their laptop, iPhone, iPad, whatever they're on, so we don't get a lot of feedback noise.
I believe you just did.
Okay, but they're not.
Okay. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, on the, in the consent agenda, where it says L 4029 approval, that should say for Rives Township.
Okay. And then I don't know if I'm looking at the correct agenda, Judy. Is it still have old business on there?
No,
I didn't think it did.
I sent it to
I
you.
must be looking at the, yeah, I must be looking at the old one.
Okay.
Is that the only thing we changed, was just the old business?
No, under new business, we added, the discussion of sewer ordinance. Does yours have that on it?
Okay, no, it does not. I'll add it to mine.
And an election worker pay increase
And where do you have that at?
underneath new business, right under the
Okay.
sewer ordinance.
Okay. All right, then is there a motion to approve the agenda as changed?
I'll make that motion, Jerry, to approve the agenda as changed.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. September 24th, 2020 Election Commission minutes, and that is just between Janina, myself, and Judy. Is there a motion to approve those minutes as printed?
I'll make the motion to approve the election commission meeting minutes as presented.
Is there support?
I support that.
You can't, you weren't there.
That just has to be a commission member.
But I'm not a commission member.
So either myself or Janina. Janina, are you in on this one? And I don't see her anywhere on my end.
She's got herself muted.
Okay. It's pretty
Hey,
hard
Jerry,
to hear
just
her
go
vote.
ahead.
It
Okay,
kicked
Go ahead
me
and
out.
support it.
All right, I'll support the motion, or I'll
Okay.
second it. I'm sorry. You supported it, I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, you got the consent agenda.
Yes. Consent agenda includes August 13th, 2020 minutes, payroll August 25th of 20,196.82, September payroll 18,882.06, October payroll $2,680, warrants for August 20th $1,137.03. September, $45,467.36. October is $107,403.82. The GIS annual contribution of $1,126.50. The L4029 approval for Rives Township to collect tax. Receiving the financial reports. Is there anything that anybody wants to pull out for discussion?
Yes, your, the September number you read off, I believe you read 45,467.36, and I believe it's 45,462.36.
Okay. And that's the correct number. That's what the paperwork
Okay.
says. I just
Okay, I
misspoke.
just, yep, that's okay.
Okay. So is there anything we need to pull out for discussion?
I appreciate the notes that you added on there for some of those expenses. That helped.
Okay. All right, if there's no objections, we'll move to adopt the consent agenda.
Okay, then moving on to line 6, new business.
It's actually 9:05.
No, that's because I'm looking at the old agenda.
Yep.
Okay. So new business. The public improvement project that we have listed on here for those that are out on Mary Lane, which is out off Peacock Road. We have, I've met with 2 of the landowners out there. I've met with Jeff Snyder. I've met with the Ingham County Drain Commissioner. It appears that most of that water's coming off the Ingham County roadside from the north, or excuse me, the Ingham County side, not the roadside. It's coming from the north. We, the 2 landowners are willing to do the work. We're trying to get Ingham County possibly to supply us with some materials to go ahead and do that job. We're hoping that they will come through. I spoke with Don Drum yesterday, which is the Ingham County Drain Commissioner. He's supposed to be getting back to me as quickly as possible. I don't know how quick that'll be. In the interim, I have reached out to Todd Beersley, one of the owners out there, brought him up to speed on that. So we're just basically waiting right now. If we can get permission from Ingham County with any type of piping availability on their end, they're willing to do that work yet before the season comes to close here, because they would like to have that done before spring. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed on that. Aside from what everybody may hear on Facebook, we actually are doing something, believe it or not. And for those who don't understand how government works, sometimes it takes a little more than a week or 2 to fix a water problem that's been there for 20 years. Sometimes it does, which is all the time.
Muted.
Yeah, I don't know why he muted. Unmute yourself. There you go.
How's that? Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. So next order of business is what, Judy?
It's the discussion of the sewer ordinance on the grinders.
Okay. I got with what we do not have in our sewer ordinance. It doesn't give for a provision to, if somebody wants to hook up on the transmission line, which is a pressure sewer, they have to, basically, they would have to pay for all of that. They would have to pay for the hookup fee, the grinder can, the construction to do the job. What we would like to do, what I would like to do, and Wendy, I spoke with her the other night at our fire committee meeting. What we would like to do is to try to make that so that it's an option to have that rolled onto their taxes, because you're talking, by the time you do the construction and all the can, the hookup fee, you know, you could be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and some people just don't have that. I got a copy of Blackman Township's ordinance. Theirs doesn't really specify the way I think it should. So I will be searching for another ordinance that we could possibly mirror off of. They have it on their price list as far as costs as to what will be incurred, but not on their, not wrote into their sewer ordinance. So with everybody's permission, I would like to move forward with that. And what it would do is it would put it onto the taxes. It would allow those people to pay it how many ever years that we tag as far as years. I think Blackman's is 18 years. That seems an odd number, but theirs shows up to be an 18-year payback. There's also states at 7%. That seems awful high to me, you know, with interest rates the way they are today. I don't believe, isn't our bond, don't we charge on the sewer, aren't we 4.5 right now, or is it 5.5? Does anybody know
I'm
that?
pretty sure it's 4.5. Is it 5?
5.5, okay.
Fine. It's 5.5.
Okay, 5. Who said that? Because
Don't
I didn't
blame
see
me.
anybody's. Oh, it was Janina. Okay, Janina. Oh, there you are. Okay, you weren't pictured, and I couldn't see anybody's lips move. So, okay, so it is 5.5. My thought was in the same is that why wouldn't we just leave it the same interest rate? There again, we would have to determine how many years that we would want that to go. But it would at least give the people the opportunity to not have to, you know, not eat for 6 months because they decided they had to hook up to the sewer, or for whatever reason, you know, the health department decides they have to hook up to the sewer. We've only got one right now that is a potential that they're probably looking at doing something in the spring, which gives us plenty of time to get something put together. I don't expect anybody's going to be doing it unless it's a, you know, a major issue that they have a complete failure to where they would try to do that in the wintertime. So we'll just continue to move forward. If everybody is in favor of that, I will get with Vic, make sure the language is correct and how we would like to have that wrote up, and then I will forward that out to everybody if everybody's in agreement with that.
I have a question, Jerry. Would
Okay.
that include people that are building new houses that have to hook to the sewer? Or just people that the sewer runs in front of that aren't hooked, that want to get hooked up?
I would think it should encompass all of those.
And it is only sometimes that a new build has to hook up. It depends how far off the road they go.
Correct. I believe that footage is 300. Anything 300 or closer has to hook up, I believe.
Yeah.
300 feet. Yep.
Yeah.
So if everybody's okay, I will move forward on that to try to get something put together so that we could get something adopted at one of our upcoming meetings.
I think it's a good idea. I think it makes it easier for residents financially.
Okay. Debbie, you're muted.
So is Wendy.
It was Janina. No, but will they have the option to pay it off first or add it to the taxes?
Of course.
Okay. You need
Yep.
to make sure.
Yep. Either it's an either or type thing. And even if they did roll it on their taxes and they chose to pay it off a year from now, they certainly could.
Okay.
Yes, with no penalties or anything like that. I'm sure is the way we would write that up. So, okay. Just wanted to give everybody a quick update on what we're working on that. What else do we have, Judy?
Election worker pay increase. I'd like to see our election workers increase from $11.10 an hour to $12 an hour. It would be more in line with the other townships. Does anybody have any input on that? It's a long day, and they work really hard.
Well, I had the experience. I know Janina has worked them. Debbie has worked them. I was fortunate enough to go up there and work a half a day. Thank you, Judy, for letting me out at a half a day. That is a long, just a taxing day, and I was only there half of it. So for them to be getting $12 an hour is probably way lower than it should be. So I'm in favor of taking them to at least 12.
Okay. I'll make a motion to increase election worker hourly pay from $11.10 an hour to $12 an hour.
I'll support that. We'll roll call this one. Debbie,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Janina,
Yes.
Judy.
Yes.
I'll vote yes, motion carried. Okay, moving down the list, it's time for public comment.
And I don't see that
you-
anybody has sent me a chat at all to be on public comment. Let me go look, make sure. Yeah, I don't have anybody. There's nobody out there that wants, wait a minute. Okay, Sally Christensen, wait a minute, let me make sure she's the first one.
Nice picture, Alex.
Looks like Cami Silvestri is the first one.
Thanks,
okay.
Jerry. That is a nice.
Really, Alex?
Yeah, it's me. I'm
Okay.
computer literate. Just a couple quick questions. The first question I have is, it's not a question for me, it's for somebody who could not make the board meeting but needs an answer. The gentleman asked me to ask you, now that the governor's orders in reference to COVID are over, when is the township going to open the offices back up to normal hours? I know I did a little bit of research, and the first 6, 7, well, let me count them. The first 7 townships that I looked at are currently open at least Monday through Wednesday, 16 hours a week. That's my first question. And the other question is, what is the status of the property that was purchased 2 years ago on Territorial that was planned on being a park? Where are we in that? I know I've got people asking me those 2 questions, and that's all I got.
Comment?
Okay, all right, well, thank you, Alex.
The next one is Ursula Hart.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Barely,
Can you hear me now?
not
Yes.
much better, but go ahead.
I know this board doesn't answer questions, but for the record, Jerry, you stated at the debate on the League of Women's Voters, it won't be Novi for a power plant. Then who would that be? And has the township been contacted by TC Energy or any other industrial development? And after receiving my updated property cards, they still remain incorrect. Jerry, your updated property cards doesn't show that you have pulled your permit for your in-ground pool or that you're paying taxes for that pool. Per the BSNA website, that still shows that your residence is a declassification. And with the ordinance compliant complaint that was made by me earlier, which caused Steve Burnett to resign as the zoning enforcer. You know, I don't go behind your back, Jerry. I'm going to tell you, the things are not correct. This isn't something that we need. I've given opportunities and this township has failed. So the community needs to know that we need new leadership in this township. I've given you opportunities after opportunities. It's time for a new board. Thanks.
Mute.
Next is Cami Silvestri.
Does this mean I get to talk again?
Nope.
Okay,
Says
bye.
it's your wife.
No, it's the same one.
Okay. Next one, Meg Short.
Are you there, Meg?
Fort Mason, Michigan. I'd like to ask why this administration has neglected to adopt even one single industrial ordinance change since learning a massive gas power plant wished to be improperly sited among homes and families in Rives Township. FOIA legal bills show ordinance discussions between Supervisor Adams, Chairman DeCamp, and Novi Energy attorneys. So we all know ordinances are the end game for this development to happen. A strong industrial ordinance is the one very thing that would stop improper siting of a power plant in Rives Township dead in its tracks. But you know that. You fixed the master plan to benefit Novi Energy in 1 month, but you're absolutely in no hurry to now fix anything to benefit the residents pleading with you month after month after month. Your extreme disregard is outing you as pro-power plant in Rives Township. This board appoints the Planning Commission. This board can make recommendations to the Planning Commission. This board has liaison Debbie Miller who could communicate the urgency to get this done. Instead, you're all allowing the Planning Commission to chase its tail and keep residents in the dark by refusing to publish ordinance drafts. Lastly, I'd like to again request that Jerry Adams release the attorney memos that we have repeatedly FOIA'd and been denied. The residents have the right to know your intent while you were spending the tax dollars of the community communicating with Novi Energy and their attorneys. Whose side are you really on? Your residents or the developer? If you have nothing to hide, release them. I feel sorry for the residents of Rives under your leadership. I look forward to real progress being made by those who care about the township after the November election. Thank you.
Sally Christensen, did you want to speak? Or you just made a comment?
Oh, I'll speak too.
Okay,
My comment was that I strongly support any wage increase for the election workers. I appreciate them so much every time that I vote, and I like to vote in person whenever possible. But I'll just take a minute to say that I hope that after the election is over, that we can come up with some great changes for Rives Township. I think it'd be really cool if we had a farmer's market, which I know Alex has proposed. We've got the pavilion. Maybe we could have a weekly farmer's market during the season, or a crafts market. There's, all kinds of things that would be welcome in this community, I think, to make it better for everybody. So thanks.
thank you. That's all I have.
That's all you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Communications. Judy, we want to start with you?
Yep, I'll go. We have a new flagpole at the township office. It was donated. We did the lightning maintenance that provides light for the flag and lighting and security for the ATM. I didn't realize how dark it was around the ATM until that was done. Brent Southwell and his wife have offered to repair our gutters at the office for free. I thought that was very generous of them. I would also like to thank the Red Barn for their generous donation of masks for election workers and residents during the election. I also had a resident that felt our collection site manager needed to be recognized for his hard work. On a Wednesday, the line was up State Road south of Barry. Rick Baldwin was the only one working. The line was still just as long when leaving. I'll write a letter to that fact and place it in his employee folder and make sure he has a copy of it. I also applied and received a grant in the amount of $5,000 towards defraying the cost of our election. We also will receive $600 reimbursement from the state towards election cost. As of today, we have issued 1,143 ballots and a total of 729 have been received back. I think that's all I got.
Okay. Debbie?
Just quickly, I wanted to say that I attended the teleconferences for the Region 2 Planning Commission for September and October. Region 2 covers Jackson, Hillsdale, and Lenawee County. Due to COVID, there's not a lot of high priorities, but there were some things that were brought up. that I think the planning commission needs to review. One of them is Grant Bowman gave an overview of Michigan agricultural land conversion and development. He talked about the need for preservation of ag land in our master plans. And the challenge with this is how do we maintain ag while growing our townships? I'm going to pass this information on to Roger so that the planning commission, and Judy, I'll pass it to you also, my quick overview, just so the new board member can have that when they come on. Other than that, since this will probably be my last board meeting, since it looks like the next one isn't until December, I wanted to thank the current board for believing in me and allowing me to serve as trustee over this last year and a half. You graciously put up with all of my questions. But as you learned, I need to understand the facts before I can make an informed and educated decision. I had hoped to be able to impart to our residents the rules and regulations behind how a township board operates. However, there is a select group in this township who will not listen to the truth and chose to only believe what they want to believe, even when their facts are incorrect. I chose not to run for trustee again because of this group. My mental and physical well-being is much more important to me. One thing that astounded me as I've been reviewing and approving financial information is the amount of dollars the township has spent on legal fees because of frivolous accusations of a select group from this township. We need to learn to work together and not against each other to improve this township. There's a wealth of knowledge in our board, our planning commission, and our inspectors that needs to continue to be shared at all levels, especially any newly elected officials. And I hope that there will be joint sessions to disseminate this information ongoing. Again, I want to thank you. I want to let you know that I will continue to provide my comments, which is what we're allowed to do at a board meeting. And I will be happy to help out in any way I can. Thanks for putting up with me.
I thank
Well,
you
Debbie,
for all
thank
your
you.
help.
I think we're all jumping in on this one. Debbie, it's been a pleasure to set up here with you. I'm glad you came on board with us. You had some big shoes to fill with Cliff, and you did not disappoint by any means. I assume, I'm certain, what is the next planning commission meeting? Are you aware of what that date is?
It's
November
in
23rd.
November after the 20th.
Oh,
Isn't it?
okay, yeah, I think it's November 20th at midnight, I think, isn't it, Judy?
Yes,
Yeah, no, noon. It's at noon.
Oh, noon.
at
Okay.
noon, okay.
Okay, now we do have a joint fire board meeting coming up. Wendy, I believe that's the 12th, 6 o'clock. And is that Tompkins or Rives? I don't remember.
In Tompkins.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, well, thanks again, Debbie, for everything you've done. Janina, do you have anything for us tonight?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. Wendy?
We had fire committee on Tuesday and it was chief's review. Brian shared some of his thoughts about trucks and what to do with trucks. Talked about doing a refurbish on engine 1, which I hadn't heard them talk about. So I thought that was a great idea, great way to save some money. By doing that, it saves a ton of money. Brian thinks it buys us probably 10 or 15 years. So he's going to do some research, get some numbers and whatnot. It was a quick meeting, but it was a good meeting. So that's all I got.
No, I agree with that 100%. That was good news to hear them say that they were thinking about refurbing engine 1. it's been a good truck, and I think that truck's got 24,000 miles on it or something like that. So
Not many.
I know it's
Yeah,
got way
that's-
more hours on it than it does miles, but still, trucks built like that can last for quite some time.
Yep.
So, okay, moving forward on my end. As far as that was one of the things that I haven't discussed with you ladies in the office, as far as what your plans were as far as reopening. I know that right now, because of the election moving forward, we certainly didn't need Judy to get sick. What are yours and Janina's plans for, or are we just in a wait and see pattern as far as reopening?
No, the office has been open and the full hours have been worked for months. So the only caveat is that we have asked residents to go to the drive-through window because there is risk of quarantining, and we can't have that and operate the office. The office hours, though, are the same as they've always been, Monday through Thursday, 11 to 4.
Yep. Okay.
And if
Okay,
we
well, that's,
open to the public, we would have the expense of having our office sanitized at least once a week, if you talk with the other townships.
all right, that's very good. I know that we had a FOIA brought in that was sent in. I believe it was today. It might have been yesterday. I'm not certain. That one, I think we need to revert to Vic on as far as whether any of that is to be released or not. As far as us being accused of hiding anything, there's nothing there to hide. Of course, we all know that. We certainly can't get a few to understand that.
The issue is we don't have those documents in our hand, and they were never used for township business. And if
Correct.
it's, so that it's not a public document, and if we don't have it, we don't have it.
Right, right. And as far as being mentioned, as far as my interview and saying that Novi wouldn't come in, I believe I corrected that in the very next sentence that I made after the next question was brought up, that no, I didn't expect it. I did not want to see any power plant coming to town, but there again, they choose to only listen to what they want to listen to. So, what they don't understand is, and I've repeated this and repeated this, it's my job. I have to take those phone calls. I have to meet with people. It doesn't matter who the supervisor is that's sitting in this chair. Well, they wouldn't be sitting in this chair other than me, obviously. But it doesn't matter who the supervisor is, and it doesn't matter who the township is or what the township is. That is their job, man or woman. It is their job to sit down with those, talk to those people. So, there's nothing we can do about that. So that is just the way it is. And I'm sorry that certain people don't understand that, but.
We also need to state that Tom Cottrell is still our zoning enforcer and is going to remain our zoning enforcer.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. And actually he has been working, I'm glad you brought that up. He has been working quite hard on some difficult situations that we've got right now. They're ones that I was able to make contact with, but was not able to get anybody to comply. So Tom has jumped on that, and he is doing a good job. And I know he's got a couple of court dates coming up the end of the month, which are all, of course, done over Zoom. And I keep sending more stuff over to him. It seems like about every other day there's more stuff getting sent his way. It would be a great and wonderful thing if everybody in Rives Township would adhere to the rules across the board. Nobody would be complaining. We would have no attorney bills because everybody would be willing to play nice, and that's just not the case. So
Clean up their mess.
Yep. And I get, some places aren't exactly, just because it's maybe not my house or my junk, my junk or somebody else's junk, maybe, junk to me, but yet it's a treasure to them. And I understand that. You know, but when you see when you see junk that's been there for ever and weeds, 8 foot tall around it, well, chances are good it's probably junk. But so I think I think that's all I have. We have the election coming up. Judy, I know you guys are going to be working hard at. Good luck with all
Hi,
your.
Jerry. Could I say something, please?
I don't even know who said that.
My name is Deborah Harris, and I'm a resident of Rives, and I apologize that I'm speaking at this time, but it's my understanding that there were other public comments, people who requested to speak and were not allowed to. So I was wondering why that happened.
I have
Okay.
nobody else on my list. I have people making comments to me, but not to be asked to be put on the public comment list.
Okay, so they have to specifically say, I would like to be put on the public comments.
Yes, I have to sign, I'd like to sign up for public comment.
Okay, well, those couple of people have an opportunity now to speak since they were not allowed to prior to this during the public comment.
Well, I don't think we have a problem with that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but we have to know who they are. They've got to let
Yes,
Judy
I
know
know.
so she can turn them on.
One was Taylor and one was Joey.
Is that last name Laeder?
I believe so.
And they're not coming to the forefront here. I don't see them. Whoever those people are need to unmute themselves if they want to speak.
Okay, do we have,
No, we don't have anybody.
okay.
Oh, I
All
got
right,
one that, wait, I have one that says she has a crying baby and can't talk on the mic. So she's not speaking. So. The other one is a question about why the newsletter was discontinued and if it is planned to be bring back. I've seen that there's $1,000 budget for printing and publishing, and I know that the newsletter is missed and helped get news out to lots of people. Well, the publication is for publishing our minutes in the paper, a lot of it.
Right, and the newsletter is what we put into the texts, is that correct?
Yes, Janina can speak to that.
Yes. The last tax run, there was no new business to put out in the newsletter, so we don't waste a repeat, but we are looking to put a newsletter out with the winter tax, which should arrive the first part of December.
Perfect. So is that all you've got, Judy?
Joe Beth wants to know why they don't get answers to questions. And I guess she doesn't understand that it's a public comment session. If people have questions, they need to call the office. We have people call every day and ask the questions. I do not take questions on my private social media though. Only call me at the office.
Yeah, you raise a good point there. I've heard the same thing from different people on social media. Have made mention of certain people in the township that have claimed that they have asked me questions, called me, left messages for me. Well, apparently they haven't, because I don't believe that there is ever a message that I do not get that gets a return phone call. If I'm not home, the answer machine will pick up, we'll get a number, and we will return that call. It's the best way for anybody out there that's listening. The absolute best way to get an answer to your question that is outside of a public hearing is to call one of these 5 board members that are pictured right now on the screen. We all can be reached. We all are willing to talk. We will, if we do not have the answer, we certainly will find the answer and we will get back to you. And that's a promise coming from all 5 of us. I can reassure you. It just very important to remember that. Please, just all you got to do is call us, and we will get back with you if we don't answer the phone immediately. Okay? So please keep that in mind. If anybody has any questions for me, my home phone number is 569-2424. You're
Jerry,
more
can
than
I ask,
welcome to leave a message and I'll get back with you.
Jerry, this is Alex Sylvester. Can I ask you a quick question?
No, public comment.
Okay, can I make a public comment?
Sure.
I can appreciate, and I have explained to several residents before this meeting that this is for public comments, and I can appreciate that, and I understand why. You guys have business to do, and you cannot field questions from 30, 40 people all asking the same thing all night long when you have business to do, and I can appreciate that. That's what public hearings are for.
Correct.
My concern is this, and it's happened tonight. You guys are picking and choosing what questions you answered. The last 2 people who had a statement, you answered their questions. I was the first one to ask you 2 questions. Janita answered one was ignored and not answered at all. So you guys are picking and choosing which questions you want to answer during a public or a committee or a board business meeting. So if it's going to be fair, you're either going to answer all the questions or none of them. And I understand the rules say that you're not supposed to answer them. So what's it going to be?
Well, see, that's a gray area, Alex, and I'll tell you why. We've always tried to, I don't know at what point you started coming to meetings. We always tried to answer every question that came up. And then the meetings ended up turning into a 2-hour session. And like you said, where questions were being repeated. And we certainly aren't getting anything accomplished at that point. And yes, I've been accused of that by, I believe it was Kyle Waller that accused me of not answering all the questions. And it's way easier at that point. Okay, so you're going to pin us down. You're going to pop a question to us, and then somebody's requesting a response on the moment, which is
Gary,
what
all fairness,
a certain group, well, hold on, Alex,
Yep,
which is what a certain group has tried to do. And all their main goal was to try to trip us up and catch us on something. Well, you said, well, that's not the case. And that's why I say, Alex, you and I have had several conversations. I have been at your house. We have text. We have had phone conversations. That is the absolute best way to get every answer to every question you have.
I agree it is.
And you know, and you can't disagree with that.
Absolutely agree with you. What I'm talking about is right now, tonight, I asked you, what is the status of the property on Territorial that was going to be built into a park that was ignored? I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. That property was bought over 2 years ago. I'm not putting you on the spot. You should have some kind of answer for that.
That one's actually an easy one, and I apologize, Alex. I had wrote it down, and I had skipped over that. And that one's an easy one. We have done absolutely nothing with that property, not one thing. And I hear my phone going off, but I can't find it, so.
That's all I honestly wanted to know, Jerry. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Alex. Okay, all right. Is there any other business in front of this board at this time? Okay, then hearing that, then thank you everybody for the last 4 years. This is the last time we'll be all together on Zoom. I know we have a joint fire committee meeting coming up, but it's been a pleasure the last 4 years. Hopefully we'll see 3 of the same faces. We won't see the 2 women that are in the middle of my screen right now, Debbie and Wendy. Thank you very much for everything you guys have done over the last 4 years. We appreciate it. So thank you. And this meeting is now adjourned. Have a good evening, everybody.
You too, Jerry.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Wendy. Sorry, I kind of booted out here. I don't know what happened with my internet.